The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And as always, we come to you at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, it's one of those things where I think we continue to see a lot of retail traders short. We're probably close to some kind of high. We have a lot of TD9s in the marketplace. We had the actual one of the lowest readings in the dark pool percentage yesterday. So not a lot of people were buying as the market went higher. I do think we had, at least in the dark pool side, that means the big guys that trade with each other on those dark pools. I do suspect that means, though, that we have a lot of retail traders that are all going short until they give up. Generally, we haven't hit a high. It just doesn't look like there's much left in the tank to drive it a little bit forward. But option market makers are kind of thinking around 3,900. There's a few things out there. Maybe the debt ceiling could see us pull back a little bit. There's always a little Mexican standoff into those. So, is there a whole lot set up here that makes me think that we're going to be 300 points higher or lower by next Friday? No. I don't see a lot of destruction. I would love to see a pullback and some consolidation of this move higher if you think we want to move higher. But this super light volume in push higher into a long weekend. Well, we know how many times after a 3-day weekend that either the character or actually the character and the direction of the market move and change quite significantly. So maybe there is something when we come back Tuesday. Hard to predict. I just don't see a lot. Of course, a lot of people getting into gold this weekend ahead of the week. That's if you're looking at something to park your cash in, probably not a bad place to be. Crude's up about $1. It's a little bit below what should be a trading range of somewhere between $80 and $100 over the next year, I would suspect. But that's kind of it. We'll look at a lot of charts today. We'll look at some other stuff. First thing we'll do is a little history, and then we'll move on.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2000, Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates steps aside as chief executive, promotes company president Steve Ballmer to be the figurehead in empty suit for the next 12 years. Gates would stay on the chief software architect till June of 2008 before finally giving up day-to-day responsibilities at Microsoft. Gates is still Microsoft's chairman of the board, although he doesn't have much in the way of shares left anymore after continuing to sell them. And, of course, has moved on to telling everybody what to do with their lives. Of course, Steve Ballmer, mostly in empty suit on the back of FTC lawsuits. I don't know if they could have done a lot of stuff. He just never really impressed me other than making sure that nothing really bad happened. He also made sure that nothing ever good happened at all. Yep, he did get out just before the .com blew up. And, of course, it is Friday the 13th. Most people have no idea why it's supposed to be such a bad day. Of course, when you look into the history, it really only happened once. But it seems to live on in infamy. And that was on this day, and I think in the late 1300s or early 1400s. The King of France, broke from starting so many wars, decides he's going to kill all the Knights Templar and take their cash. And, of course, they were the original bankers and ATM guys. You could get a certificate and traps around Europe to all of the different wonderful places and get cash when you got there with those certificates. It's kind of the ATM of its time. The guys at the Knights Templars, though, they weren't so forgiving. They didn't get out on time, and I think they killed 200 of them on this day. But what they did do is hide all the cash, or run it around, or bury it, or do something with it. The king never got it, and of course the head of the Knights Templar was at the stake being burned to death when he told the king that God had told him that he would not live out the year. Of course, without much cash, the king was a target, but doesn't seem like anybody actually got him before a disease had him dead within 11 months. And of course, that made me think that, yes, the thing to do is to predict the death of anybody killing me, just in case it happens, and we can start a good rumor or conspiracy theory. But just remember to do that. If anybody's killing you, just tell them they're going to die within the year. Then if it happens, you'll be remembered forever. 877-927-6648. Okay. We'll start taking a look at some of the stuff out here. First question of the day comes in about the TLT. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, let's talk about Apple first. Had somebody that was actually asking about that too. Of course, the CEO of Apple saying that he will take a 40% salary cut for the year because of the lower stock prices. And, of course, I don't know how he's going to scrape along on $49 million a year. It's expensive in California. But certainly he'll be able to do that and cut down on maybe the incidentals that he has. But, I'm sure it's going to be tough. No word if all that extra money is going to go to the children in the sweatshops of China, or maybe some of those people in slave labor that make his products. But again, what can you say? 877-927-6648. Basil's birthday? Did not know that. Happy birthday, Basil. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's take a look at JPM first. And then we'll look at the Goldman Sachs. We got a nice candle, but again, as I said, there's so many of these stocks that are right at resistance levels. In the case of JP Morgan, we've got the February 28th low. The gap down, at 31 million shares. You're going into that today on 13.5 million shares. As I said, I think we're kind of getting close to fairly tough resistance. We'll take a look at the Goldman Sachs. Candle kind of the same thing, a little lower, a little higher, but no real volume. This goes into the candle of the 13th of December. Had 3 million shares. You got about one.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Cakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Cakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we take a look at the SPYs, as we said, very light volume. Something generally, if you want the trend to continue, you don't want to see. We gapped down on the 15th of December on 117 million shares. Yesterday up on 90 million shares. Today up on 35 million shares. So there isn't a whole lot here other than coming back up. We might still see a little bit of a bounce on Tuesday, but I think it has more to do with maybe some headlines out there. As I said, option market makers are not thinking that there's much higher, and, for the most part, not thinking there'd be a whole lot lower. But more than likely, or the most likely, is probably some move back to around 3,900 by next Friday and options expiration. I only have one long-term position. I sold our short-term trade in Taiwan Semi yesterday and made some good money on it. So, it's you don't want to push too hard until you get the signal in these markets, but it does kind of look like we're up here on fairly light volume. Of the big movers out here is Ford. They signed some kind of deal with the devil yesterday in Europe that will make them basically accountable to European laws. I think that this gap down probably doesn't have much to do with it. See if there's anything in the headlines here that brings it up. I do not see it, but it was kind of troubling, mostly because not only do they have to adapt some rather draconian and stupid ideas from Europe, anybody that just supplies anything to them would have to do the same thing. And I don't know if you can get that many people to do that much stupid. But Ford did sign that deal yesterday in Europe to gain access to the market. Maybe it's one of those deals where it's just more of a suggestion than anything else, or kind of like a pledge instead of reality. But I thought that was very weird. Okay. What else do we have here? Come on. I know we have some other stuff. Also down 5% today, too. Let's take a quick look at Northrop Grumman. This is actually breaking through the support line. You would think with all the war going on and all the money being thrown around, this would do a little bit better. You kind of at least got half of it back, but you're back to the bottom of the candle of October 14th with 1.6 million shares, but you did pierce it with 1.7 or 8 already. So that's a little tough. Let's take a quick look at DAL, which is down about 4%. Again, as we said, so many of these stocks were coming up to what looked like resistance or gaps. Now, yesterday you actually had some fairly decent volume in Delta and a reversal, although not as complete as it could be today, with also fairly significant volume. So you got a little bit of mixed signals in that one. Let's see if there's anything else out here that really seems to be speaking to us on that. See on the positive side, Expedia, EXPE up about 3.5%. Again, there's whether up or down, not a lot of these things have a lot of juice. You had a gap down that's been open since the 2nd of December on Expedia with 1.8 million shares. You got about 1.5 million shares through it today, but really the last couple of days, 2.5, 3 million shares, pretty light up here at these tops. Also, Wells Fargo on the positive side, a little bit, big, wide-ranging bar on this one. Big, engulfing candle on this. Maybe this means that the banks are turning the corner. Got a question. How integrated will be GPT become in Google, Bing, Twitter in providing content? I'm not so sure that it's going to be that. I think it's going to be more of a kind of Google search engine, but give you the results in a different way. Instead of trying to say, okay, here's the most likely, and then the next most likely, and then maybe the most likely after it, it is going to have probably a much better ability to figure out what you really want right off the bat, not just on a kind of percentage I can't even say it, page rank. So that's it. Okay. See if I got all these things. It's a lot up here. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Anyway, since Microsoft and some of the others, not Google, were the big heavy investors in this, my guess is those will be the first guys to adopt it. One of the most interesting parts is just how much computer power it needs to run this at the moment, and it is massive. It is not something that's going to be free, I think, ever, but maybe it gets better from here. But certainly, I think Bing, some of the other search engines may be able to use this technology to leapfrog what Google has in the lead for search engines. So it's a little bit better. It's not based on, what's the highest rank. It's more trying to find out what the ground truth is on any particular question. So it has kind of the elements of Google, but it does have kind of more the elements of an AI than that. But $40 billion right now. A lot of people saying that they're going to take it to $100 billion and then roll it out as an IPO this year. So that is interesting. But I think this is kind of the horse designed by committee at the moment. We kind of see hints of what it can do. Maybe there'll be a whole lot more. Maybe there won't. Maybe it'll take a lot more effort to add additional features. But it's kind of, I imagine it was kind of like looking at the first car that kind of ran fairly well and didn't instantly break down. You kind of just look at the horse and go, okay, I know your time's up. And the Google page rank, that may be the first really big target to hit. We'll be back in a few minutes.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Question on, I hope I pronounced this right, Zuzex. Sells augmented wearable display and computing devices for consumer and enterprise markets. I think last year, before Facebook took a big dive and a dump, we talked about the whole goggle thing. And the problem is that you've got a product that maybe 30% of people can wear without throwing up. It's not the universal panacea for some kind of entrance into a digital matrix kind of world. I think a lot of people watch the movies too much. The resolution of the headwear is not great enough. The speed of the processors is not great enough. When it is, it tends to melt people's foreheads. There's not enough cooling in it. It is a product that you could see how it could work, but there are some huge hurdles in the meantime. I would say the biggest one is if you have a product that makes people throw up, you got a problem. If you got a product that gives people massive headaches, you got a problem. Now, do everybody get those things? No. But, if half or more, it's still a problem. Part of it is the resolution of the headset devices, the heat that comes off of it. Intel's spent a lot of money trying to miniaturize chips for these things. Of course, no one's really made any money off of it except Microsoft, who's been able to sell their HoloLens products to a variety of people. But even the military has the exact same problem, which is it makes some people sick, nauseous, and a variety of other things, and gives them kind of massive headaches. It is not natural to have something 1.5 or 2 inches away from your retina, even if the lens is adapted so that, ideally you could focus on it. It's just too close. So I think these things, unless someone shows me some technology that solves a lot of the problems, and maybe someone does, but at this point I don't see it anywhere. And as far as anybody making money off of it, my understanding is that 80% of the devices from Facebook, Metamucil, are for porn. So maybe that's the core market there, but I don't see right now a product that is good or useful for most folks. I mean, everybody puts the headset on for 5 minutes. They go, well, this could be absolutely great. And after you have it on for an hour, you have a migraine for the next day, or you've thrown up. So, when that stuff quits going on, I think we'll change. But anyway, wearable displays, all that stuff, great idea. They still have some major issues, and that's why we haven't seen mass adoption as of yet. 877-927-6648. And see if they have anything else. Got some of that. Got that. Well, let's take a quick look at the queues. Someone's posting in there. I just wanted to see what the volume looked like today. Same kind of thing as the SPYs, and that is just very light volume. Yesterday, just under 60.2 million shares. Today, 28 million shares. And of course, you've got just a hint higher, and that's kind of like the whole market. So you want to keep an eye out for that. Kind of hanging out at about +5 on the S&P, +40 on the Dow, NASDAQ up about 41. Crude oil up about $1.37. And let's take one more look at Mr. Goldilocks here. Up $24 at 19.22. 90 is the last tick I show. Okay, let's take a quick look at GLD. See what kind of volume we have for that today. Okay. Come on, there we go. Come on. Let's get it here. Okay, you're back into the gap. And that gap was April 25th of 2022. Came down on, let's call it 13 million shares. Today you're into that with 5.4 million shares in the GLD. So do I think the end of the world is coming for gold? No. But we probably had a fairly nice move back up from about 167. So the last $10, pretty much a straight up move for the most part. You had one day where you actually pulled back a little bit. Light volume, you probably need to consolidate I could see this coming back to and finding support around 175-ish. Short of the Fed running around naked and screaming 2 percentage points higher, I think it's probably a good trade. You just need at some point some kind of pullback. Now that relies or belays my thoughts that this could be the seventh wave of a Elliott wave setup, and of course Elliott wave kind of useless as far as I could ever make anything out of it. Other than in retrospect, you did see some interesting ideas on how to characterize markets, and in this case, the seventh wave is a thing where they just kind of stumble up a little bit all the time for about 2 years. You never get that thing where it doubles in a month or anything like that. It just kind of generally the last big move after a long time, figuring that this was the move from 2000. You get that last big wave. So could it last a couple of years? Yeah. Will you get some okay pullbacks? Yeah, but you never get anything that just says, you know what, I've been waiting for a $50 pullback on gold. Hey, are you going to get it? I think it's going to be tough, but certainly could it come back and fill this little gap up to maybe 175 or part of that 176 in the GLD? Probably could be. 877-927-6648. Email me at your will. And we will move on. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Okay. Okay. CarMax. KMX. We just want to see, you kind of had the high volume low. You've bounced off that and back into the trading range, but you probably still want something in the low 50s retested. I can't imagine that interest rates are going to turn around anytime in the next year. So I would suspect that 52.10 of December 22nd will get tested yet again. Just at the present time, we have a lot of folks a lot of folks seeing some kind of meme stock action in these stocks that are probably going bankrupt. We'll look at Carvana when we come back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
We're looking at Amazon. We got 3 days. I don't know if the volume's going to pick up here. Certainly looks like it's trying to get back into this candle of November 15th. That had 111 million shares today, 59 million shares. Even yesterday, 85 million shares. So you are starting to run out of juice as you come into this big turnaround day. And that would be, I don't know, maybe you get a little bit more. My guess is it hits 100, and they try to close it out there for options expiration next week. But maybe we'll have bigger news than I think about. Okay, what else we have? Winter chicken dinner for GNUS. A nice bounce on this. Again, Genius Brands, very little in the way of volume. A lot of these things just look like they are short squeezes on light volume. Mercado Libre trying to get back into its previous high today. That was 1,095 on August 15th. You got to 1,091 today. You wanted to have something like 400,000 shares. This actually looks like it could be a decent breakout, 821,000 shares today. And of course, maybe a lot of other stuff going on south of the border will make this more attractive than some U.S. stocks. It's kind of a variety of things from Amazon to Yahoo to Google south of the border in retail sales via online. To see NTES. Nice gap higher here. The volume could be a little bit better, but not bad. This is NetEase. This thing has just kind of gone up from 52.77, the October 24th low, kind of stumbled up all the way. Volume is better than yesterday, which is few stocks can really say that. 1.7 million shares today already against the 1.1 yesterday. You've got a couple of gaps up. Maybe you get one more on this move. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay. Amazon, Illumina. You know, looked at Illumina, LILMN, right? It is. Get that? Okay. Yeah, you got almost no volume in this today, although it's a nice candle. Just not much going on. What do I think of DIA calls? I don't think that there's much going on anywhere before the close. Now, maybe we get some kind of surprise This market looks about as dead as a doornail, which is generally a good sign to not be short. But at the same time, I don't see any signal out here that they're going to do anything. Maybe you get 10 points higher. Maybe you get 4,000 on the S&P cash for the end of the day. But certainly on this, I don't see much of anything out here, just light volume and move. So, maybe do we tag and gap up on Tuesday morning and make some kind of significant high? That is one scenario. I just don't see any signals really one way or the other. I think it's an easy thing to do to sit on your hands and wait for the next signal instead of anticipate it. Okay. Let's look at what else is out here. JB Hunt down 2%. JBHT. Okay. Gap down. Got little or no volume. I'm trying to find anything that really has a lot. The only big signal out here is you did break the previous low of 172.21. That was the November 17th low with heavier volume, which suggests that 168.25 is going to get tested. I mean, it was 30% higher volume. You did close back in it. Now you've come back up. You need to get back down, south of 170 and test it with lighter volume. So let's see out here. Take a quick look at Western Digital, WDC. Okay. Yeah. You had some really good volume off the bottom, and it's done nothing but for the last 6 days go lower as you went back up to resistance levels. You've got a gap that looks at 35.50. I don't know. I wouldn't be long or short this thing. Maybe at 35.50 you might get a better look at something out here. APRN. Blue Apron on a short squeeze. You certainly have a lot of volume. You went up to the previous high with you're probably going to have 4 times the volume you had for Blue Apron, the December 23rd low, or high, excuse me. That had 13 million shares. You got 40 already today, but are not going to hold that. You're just going in and filling this gap from November 11th down on 14 million shares, which actually isn't all that bad. But, yeah, my guess is that probably doesn't last too long into next week. Okay, take a quick look at Micron. Take a look at this. Again, just a lot of these things just look like they're going back up to either some kind of standard resistance level, some level of a confluence. In the case of Micron, you did have this confluence level at 58.68. You got to 58.47 today, or actually 2 days ago, and it started rolling down a little bit. So you're at resistance. Doesn't mean it's going back down to the lows, but you have a fairly good looking. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit better so you can see it. You do have a very sharp, very well-defined confluence level, 58.44 to 58.68. And so what is that? A handful, 14 cents, 24 cents. So that's a fairly nice setup out there to look at it. Those confluence levels tend to work very well, much better than I think that individual Fibonacci levels. You just went up there. Maybe you pull back to 55, and maybe it takes another run if we're going to go higher. But, you pretty much ran into resistance, and that's kind of it on that. Okay. A lot of short squeezes out here. Of course, someone's bringing up Virgin Space. We talked about that the other day, kind of bounced on really bad news. Confluence on that is $6.30 to $6.53. I don't know if you get there, but again, a lot of these things are just running everybody out of the short end of the pool. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And the question about Lucid Group, you've gone up. You probably need to pull back to about 728 if this is an ABC higher. I don't have any deep insides of this. You really haven't made a low and retested it on lighter volume, so I would want to see a retest of 609 before I would trade it. On the positive side for all of these EV companies is Sweden announcing yesterday the biggest find of rare earth minerals ever. I think it's 100 million tons in a fairly small hole up in Sweden. That is probably going to take anywhere from, well, they think first production's 8 years away from today. So that's a long time, but maybe the most concentrated rare earth minerals of all time. And again, rare earth minerals are not rare, so to speak. They're just rare in high concentrations. So when you find something like this that's a massive concentration, it just happened to be kind of close to yet another mine. They kind of stumbled into it, weren't looking for it. But you know, if you're going to have a lot of this stuff moving forward, you're going to have it. Now, is there a lot of copper there? No, you're going to need a lot of copper for EVs. Or are you going to have a lot of lithium? No, there isn't lithium in this. But pretty much all the other rarely rare earths that you need in this new Sweden discovery. So on the positive side, occasionally we just find some stuff and get lucky, and that's what happened in Sweden. But that would be enough for all of Europe's cars for many years to go forward. And of course, any dependency that they can get out of from China means that they're not under the thumb of the biggest producer of rare earths these days. Now, we're going to go and have a good 3-day weekend. Come back on Tuesday. I suspect we're going to have a lot of action. I'm not going to predict which way, but my guess is that I think we're going to have a lot of action into next Friday. So rest up. And I don't hear anything in the background.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to